Hey everyone, welcome to my ranking of all seven Transformers live action movies. Today I am going to be talking about all seven of the movies and what I like and don't like about them. This is just based on my opinion. I am not a professional movie reviewer, but as I've recently seen Transformers Rise of the Beasts, I would like to talk about that movie as well as all six other movies. I will not be including the 86 animated movie from Transformers G1 because I just want to talk about the live action movies as well as the fact that I'm very biased towards that movie, and that movie would obviously be number one because I absolutely fucking love it. But yeah, so we're going to be talking about all seven live action movies today, and let's get started. So coming in at number 8 is Transformers The Last Night. Now, this movie is just bad, just really, really bad. It is like, immediately as soon as I think of it, I think of the worst Transformers movie. It is just there's way too much going on in it. Like, you got the medieval stuff, you've got Cybertron stuff, Unicron stuff, Quintesson stuff. Barely any time left for the Decepticons, to be honest. Like, it's just really poorly made. Through rewatches, I noticed that there's actually shots in that movie that are reused from Revenge of the Fallen. There's a submarine shot where you can literally see a tiny snippet of Revenge of the Fallen Megatron, and it's just a bad movie. There's just it's hard talking about it. This movie. About last year or something, I decided to make a rewatch all of the Transformers movies again. I said I'd rewatch all of them, even the ones I didn't like very much. And Last Night was the only movie that I turned off about halfway through, 2/3 through, because I just realized there was nothing keeping me watching it. So I turned it off and and the next night I watched Bumblebee. Fuck it. So yeah, this movie, the characters are just not very good at all. Cade is worse than he was in Age of Extinction, and just all the Transformers are just not very likable at all, really. Like, you got new characters that nobody really likes, awful designs. What do you call it? Day Trader. He's meant to be Wreck-Gar. Why don't you just call him Wreck-Gar? And it's just not very good as well. Plus, like, it has like all of the it has all of the live action movies' bad qualities ranked up to 10. And yeah, if I was going to say there was any good parts about the movie that I'd like, I'd say that my favorite scene in that whole movie is probably Megatron talking to Starscream's decapitated head. That's probably my favorite part of the movie, just because that's like the only instance in any of the live action movies of Starscream being a traitor to Megatron, like the entire time. I don't mind Cogman. I did actually find Cogman quite entertaining, but it doesn't feel like a Transformer character to me. It feels like they could have made another movie, just like an adventure movie with a robot butler sidekick, and they could have had fun with that. I didn't like... It's another one of those things where you make basically a human character like the center stage, and then there's not enough time for Transformers at all. And the timeline for that movie is just weird. Like, if you're ever trying to do a timeline video for the live action movies, don't take anything that The Last Night says into account. Like, that movie even kind of states that Sam Witwicky is dead. They basically say that, and all of the world, like, fighting in World War II and all the history stuff, it just contradicts the Transformers came to Earth for the first time in 2007 thing from the first movie. So, yeah, and I'll just talk about the Decepticons for a second. I did like the Suicide Squad themed Decepticons when I first saw them, and then seeing them get killed off that fast, it's just, there's no stakes. The Decepticons were just awful in that movie. Megatron's design is actually really cool, but he just doesn't do anything in the movie. And I heard there was oh, that's what I want to talk about. There is so many things I've heard that were cut from that movie that just disappoint me. Like, it wouldn't have saved the movie by any means, but it was rumored that Megatron was meant to turn into a dragon at some point in that movie. That would have been fucking awesome. Where was that? Also, speaking of Cogman before, there was meant to be a part where he rips off Nitro Zeus's head and replaces it. That would have been fucking awesome to see, yeah? But they even did it for the toy. They had Nitro Zeus's head removable, but they didn't put that in the movie. There's so many missed opportunities with this movie. They tried to cram in as much as possible, and then the stuff they should have put in didn't make it. So this movie is 100% bottom of my ranking, and I just don't want to talk about it anymore because I'm kind of starting to feel sick. Okay, so number 6 on my list is Age of Extinction. Not as bad as Transformers The Last Night. It's at least watchable. I can get through it. One of my biggest things I don't like about this movie is that there is way too much... Like, the product placement in that movie is just in your face bad. It's just everywhere. Every 2 seconds. Me and my friends always have a running gag about Mark Wahlberg drinking the Bud Light. We always joke about that. We think it's hilarious, but like ironically hilarious. I still think it's stupid. But the movie is okay. I actually loved it for a little while until recently I started realizing what was really bad about it. There is some good things. Some good things about the movie I want to talk about before I talk about the bad is I love the soundtrack in that movie. I like Lockdown's theme. That whole scene with Lockdown, I really love. That's actually really cool. The designs in that movie are okay. I still don't like Optimus's. Optimus's design is just stupid. He barely looks like he turns into a truck at all. Like, he's got the same design as The Last Night, but he just doesn't look like he turns into a truck. Apart from the collars and the flames and the smokestacks, the wheels disappear, the windows disappear, everything on him is gone. It's just not a very good design at all. Bumblebee's is not bad. It's got the same kind of thing where everything kind of disappears, but I do kind of think the wheels on his back are kind of metal. Fuck yeah. All the other, it's kind of off-putting watching all of the Autobots fight each other and be a bit like they all kind of hate each other a little bit. It's really hard to like your heroes and everything when they all don't like each other. Hound, I think, is my favorite character in that movie. I think if there was one live-action movie Transformer that could transfer over to the new timeline, it would be Hound, because I actually really enjoy watching him. I don't care if it doesn't make sense that he's fat. I do actually really enjoy him. The plot of that movie is interesting. It's got a lot of good ideas with them being hunted and everything, but it's just really poorly executed. Like, they could have done it so much better. Like, and there's just heaps of things in that movie that are never explained. Like, for one, how the hell did the American government get into contact with an alien bounty hunter Lockdown? Who set that deal up? Also, I'm guessing that right after Dark of the Moon is when they started hunting down all of the Transformers. So, when did Drift, Crosshairs, and Hound get any time to be introduced to Earth and the humans and the conflict going on before they started getting chased as well? So, yeah, and the human characters in that movie, Mark Wahlberg is definitely not as... He's worse than Sam. He's just it's just such a weird character. And like, yeah, it's not... I rank this movie above Last Night because there's actually things in this movie I do enjoy. Scene-wise, like, mostly turn off your brain. There's some cool action scenes in the movie. The Dinobots. The Dinobots... The problem with them is that they were really over-advertised for the movie, considering they're only in the last 5 minutes and do nothing except for being noble steeds for the Autobots, really. Like, knowing Grimlock from any other continuity, I don't think he would ever let Optimus Prime ride on his back. He doesn't respect him for like that. And also, they never speak, and they're all the same color. They don't look... That's not Grimlock at all. And then, like, it's also stupid that in The Last Night, in Age of Extinction, they say you're free now, go Dinobots, and then they come back in the last night and do absolutely nothing. But yeah, Lockdown is an okay villain. I think he could have been a little bit better. Like, it's probably interesting after having the 3 movies with the Decepticons and Megatron having this different threat. But after you've had solo villains like Scourge and the Dropkick and Shadow and Bumblebee movie, then we know that a main villain just being one Transformer can be a lot better. Galvatron in the movie, probably the best part about that is they brought Frank Welker back instead of Hugo Weaving to play him, which was probably the best part. But then the design looks nothing like Galvatron, and I don't know why did Megatron even rename himself? So the humans gave Galvatron that name, and then Megatron, someone who does not respect the humans at all, starts using it. Why? Yeah. Also, the whole setup in I think it's Hong Kong, the final end of the movie, a bit rough there, a bit stereotypical and racist with some of the things they do in that movie. And the human villains aren't very good either, like massive hypocrites. And Stanley Tucci's guy is like, I don't know, he's super serious when he's the villain, but when he starts working with them, he's a dickhead. And it's still funny. I make a joke with my friends all the time watching Optimus Prime shoot Frasier. That's always funny. So there's some parts of this movie that are okay. It's not as bad as Last Night, not making me turn it off. Like, there's still good parts about it, but still is very low in my ranking. It's an okay movie. It's got good traits. It's got bad traits. Like, I still like the track battle cry that plays in that movie. It's pretty good. But yeah. Also the Viacons in that movie are a bit uninteresting. And I almost forgot the Transformium bullshit. Are you kidding me? Like, it's just an excuse for them to not have to model them transforming, which is just and then like they expect the people that make the toys to actually know how to fucking make a good toy of those kind of designs. And like all the Viacons like look generic and everything, but like they've also got one that looks like Shockwave, which to be honest just disrespects Shockwave and everything. And it's stupid that they're blaming the Autobots for what happened in Chicago. That was the Decepticons' fault. The Autobots helped you stop it, yeah. But I think that's everything I have to say on Age of Extinction. An okay movie, not as bad as The Last Night, but so I'm going to rank it as number 6. So number 5 is Revenge of the Fallen. Now, this movie got a lot of hate for a long time, but I don't find it that bad. It's a very hit or miss movie. I could basically cut up this movie, take all the good parts and remove all the bad parts, and I'd probably rank it a little bit higher. But just the racist and sexist jokes and all that bullshit and skids and mudflap really ruined the movie. But if you take that stuff out, it's not that bad. Like, it's not that complicated of a movie. The Fallen isn't that interesting, but he doesn't do much in the movie at all. I do like that he's played by Tony Todd. That's really cool. But I think this movie basically boils down for me as kind of a midway for the Bayverse films, just because it's not that good, but I have a lot of nostalgia for it. Just, I don't know, it came out when I was very young. This was the first Transformers sequel for me, because I remember watching the first one on DVD and fell in love with it. And then the second one's like the first new Transformers movie that I saw in cinema. So I've got a bit of nostalgia for it. The toy line was great for this movie. The designs of all the robots look pretty good and everything. They've actually got explanations for why new Transformers turned up, unlike Age of Extinction, which we just talked about. So there's actually lots of things. There's lots of scenes in that movie. The entire start of the movie is actually really hype and really good. Like, Optimus's entrance is really flipping awesome. And like, working with the humans is a cool idea. There is good parts of the movie. The forest battle is still probably one of my favorite fight scenes of all the live-action Transformers movies, and that gives Revenge of the Fallen brownie points, very good brownie points. Also, Optimus combining with Jetfire, never not fucking awesome. There's still some problems with it, like Skids and Mudflap are a big one. Like, they had so many new cool Transformers. Why did they have to make those two the ones that accompany Sam and Bumblebee on their mission? Like, it could have just been Bumblebee, or you could have fucking, I don't know, sent Ironhide with them, or Sideswipe, or anyone. And like, there's still some problems with some of the characters. Still same problems as the last two movies, where the characters of the robots aren't fleshed out at all, really. Like, you got the RC twins who barely get any screen time. Sideways gets killed off really fast. Ratchet and Ironhide do even less in this one than the first one. Sideswipe is a really cool design. Still needs more screen time. Jetfire is an interesting one. I like how they actually still kept his whole leaving the Decepticons thing, but the whole being really old thing is still a bit interesting. So there is some good parts of that. I don't mind Megatron's design in that movie. I like it better than the first movie's design, to be honest. It's like Starscream got a bit more to do as well, and they kind of gave him a new voice, which I don't mind it a little bit. Devastator in it it's a cool robot, but I reckon if it just wasn't Devastator, I'd probably like it a little bit more if it was just a completely new combiner and not Devastator. Because like seeing that and thinking it's Devastator just shits on the character's legacy, and like he's got testicles, for God's sake. I like that Soundwave appeared in this one for the first time. I still really like his role in the movie, even though at some point he kind of just disappears from the movie after he starts mouthing off to Sam's mum on the phone. That's the last time you see Soundwave. The plot of the movie is okay. Optimus dying, when that happened, that surprised me as a kid. But the plot for that movie, I do kind of like the whole we're going on an adventure kind of plot to it, where they got to go find something or find a MacGuffin. Yeah, the plot's okay. I still think some of the others are a bit more interesting. Like Dark of the Moon, I think storyline has a bit more twists and everything. What do you call it? Yeah, there's some good stuff in there. I think that movie I mostly like for nostalgia, but there's just a lot of scenes in that movie. Like, Alice puts the Pretender name to shame too. I can't believe that I've only figured out a few years ago that was meant to be a Pretender, like the Pretender shells from '88. Oh god. There's just some scenes in that movie. If I was to watch that movie, there's parts I really like in it and parts I really don't. So if I could watch it, I would be holding the remote control the entire time and just fast forward past parts I don't like, and it'd probably end up being a 40-minute movie. Like, I really don't want to see a slimy robotic thing go inside Sam's throat and come out his nose. I didn't pay the movie ticket for that. Like, oh, there's just scenes like that throughout the movie I didn't want to watch. I don't need to see Simmons wearing that jock strap or whatever the fuck he's wearing in the museum. Or, and also, what do you call it? Sam's college friend did not need to be in the movie. Delete him. But some of the fight scenes in the movie were good. I did like the desert battle, apart from the fact that everyone kind of just got blown to bits at the end. Like, yeah, blow them all up. There, that's how we're going to finish this. But yeah, the movie boils down to, I like it because I saw it as a child, so it's kind of nostalgic for me. And if you could cut out half of the content in the movie, then I'd consider it better. So, Revenge of the Fallen at number 5. Okay, so number 4 is Transformers 2007, the first movie. Now, this movie actually is quite good. When it first came out, if they never made any sequels to the first movie, then it's actually a pretty solid Transformers movie. Like, all the characters get a little bit of screen time. Like, there's some, like, this is the movie that set the tone and started the movie franchise. And I saw this movie when I was 7 years old, and it is, as much as I will probably complain about the Bayverse films, the 2007 Transformers live-action movie is the first time I ever saw anything Transformers related. It is what got me into the franchise. But then shortly after that, I watched the G1 cartoon, and I was hooked on everything Transformers. So this movie actually does have some really good scenes. It starts off a bit slow, which is probably why I have ranked it at number 4. Is that the first half of the movie is mostly spent with Sam. The first scene of the movie with Blackout is amazing, and the Autobot and Decepticon lineup for this movie is quite good. The Decepticons are all military vehicles, and the Decepticons are actually a threat in this movie. Like, it took the whole military group and Bumblebee to take down Brawl, and it took forever. If you had someone like Brawl in Age of Extinction, he would have got... Actually, if you had someone like Brawl, who's basically the same size as Onslaught, go remember Onslaught in The Last Night, got his foot cut off and then his head cut off, and he was done like that in 2 seconds. Brawl took up a whole street and took everyone to take him down. So the Decepticons were a threat, and that was really cool. Megatron was scary in this movie. Like, Optimus couldn't even handle him. He could barely take him on. But the movie does start off slow, but I think it's good. It's kind of good because it sets it up slowly. So when you finally actually get to the arrival to Earth scene where all the Autobots introduce themselves, the build-up is just really good. So seeing this movie the first time was like awe-strucking. The CGI and everything, seeing them all transform, is just awesome. And the final battle of the movie is really good. All the Autobots are really good. Poor Jazz got killed off way too early. Obviously, the movie still has its issues with Michael Bay's trends, basically, with all the bullshit. But it's kind of muted compared to stuff like Age of Extinction and Last Night. So, like, in my opinion, after seeing Age of Extinction and Last Night, I respect the first 3 a lot more, because they're at least a little bit more enjoyable. So yeah, the movie is good. I have lots of nostalgia for it, probably even more nostalgia than Revenge of the Fallen. But I think the thing that puts it a little bit lower is just how slow how slow it is to start up, and maybe how the action in number 3 is the action compared to Dark of the Moon is not as intense. But I think the human, like Sam, is bearable in the first one. He gets a little bit more annoying in the other ones, but he is a lot more bearable in the first one. I think because, I don't know, he's still a teenager in that movie. He's gonna act like that, but in the other ones, it's like you're acting like an idiot, man. Yeah, Bumblebee being the first Autobot there was always good. The first movie is quite good. It was a spectacle of its time. It does feel a little bit more dated than the other ones, though, because you look at that movie and this is definitely 2007. But I still think the best character in that movie is probably Lennox. Seeing him do his stuff is cool. The movie should have just focused on Captain Lennox and the military guy. Sector 7 was interesting in that movie as well. Seeing Ice Megatron is quite interesting as well. I do like that movie. It's still got its issues, but I like it a lot. It's basically can be forgiven for basically what happens to the franchise going down, and I do quite enjoy that movie. I still think of it very nostalgically and all that. So Transformers 2007 is number 4. Also, a lot of the stupid lines that are said in that movie are just hilarious to me. Like left cheek and I ate the whole plate. I ate the whole plate. Just some of the stupid lines that are said by the humans are just hilarious to me, and like we repeat them as jokes all the time. But like lines that happen in the later movies are just stupid and just cringe at them. But the ones in the first movie have just become ingrained in my brain. They always make me laugh. So yeah, Transformers 2007, number 4. Now, number 3, Dark of the Moon. So this one, the first live-action Transformers movie is probably regarded better as Dark of the Moon and probably has better characters and better plot. But Dark of the Moon is probably my guilty pleasure movie. It is my favorite of the Bayverse films for its action and its action alone, basically. So like the plot is still is all right. I do like the all the homages to G1 with I forgot what the episode is, but there is an episode in G1 where Megatron launches all of the Autobots off the planet. So I like how they took it from that. I like there's a little bit more respect for the robots in Dark of the Moon than like Revenge of the Fallen. That it's cool to see the wreckers and everything. But that movie is probably my guilty pleasure movie. I think just because basically 2/3 of the movie is all action and like taking over the whole city and everything. Basically, this is the one that I would want to watch out of the Babe films if I had to choose. The action, the visuals and everything are just awesome to watch. Like Optimus tearing through everyone. Like as brutal as it is, and like some of the bad parts of the movie, it's still amazing to watch. Like there's a lot of scenes in that movie that I like the Decepticons in Africa, Optimus destroying the driller scene is awesome. The soundtrack is really good for that movie. There's still things I don't like about the movie. The disrespect to Starscream, Soundwave, and Shockwave by killing them off that way, I will never get over. I still hate that. I think Sentinel Prime was a good villain, mostly because he really makes me hate him. For killing Ironhide, I will never forgive him for that. It's like one of the best live-action Autobots. I will never bloody forgive him for that. Yeah, but even though this movie does have its problems, it's probably a little bit less on the offensive side toward because what do you call it? Revenge of the Fallen had Devastator's a nutsack and the twins and everything. All stuff those kind of jokes don't happen as much in Dark of the Moon. But they're still there, but they're a bit toned down. So, but I love the highway chase scene. There's just so many things about that movie that I like. Just as a good action movie. Like, turn your brain off, enjoy the visuals of the robots destroying each other, and just enjoy it. That's what I reckon is how I feel about this movie. And some of the robot designs are pretty good. Megatron as a Mad Max style destroyed truck is actually really cool. I really like that. I don't like how easy it was for Optimus to kill him. But one thing I do like about the movie is Megatron turning on Sentinel. I think that's actually a really nice plot point. Is like, he's going to take over from you. I do actually really like that. Like, seeing the concern in Megatron's face. He's about to lunge and, like, crush Carly. But he doesn't and stops and thinks about it for a second. I actually like that. There's a little bit of thought put into that there. Speaking of Carly, I do like her more than Megan Fox, especially seeing how she's a big old G1 reference. I do like how there is a lot of human characters in that movie that are G1 references, like Simmons sitting in the wheelchair. I'm pretty sure he's meant to be Chip Chase from G1 at that point. Same as the director of Nest. I'm pretty sure she's meant to be Marissa Fairborn, basically. So I do like how they the whole ship them off the planet and the characters and everything. Lots of G1 references. Optimus's jet trailer is so cool. Like, that's why I think the movie has its flaws, but there's just such cool shit in the movie. Like, the driller is awesome. I'm pretty sure there might actually, I think there might even be a reference to an actual Cybertronian life form. I'm pretty sure there's something like it in the War for Cybertron video games. and just Optimus's jetpack trailer is just awesome. I really hope that that thing is not Jetfire's parts reconfigured, because that would be creepy, but other than that, the jetpack is awesome. Just basically every part in that movie that is pure action, which is a lot of it, I love. And I like Soundwave's design. I love the wings, even the parts with the humans is cool. Like the wingsuit in part is pretty cool. Yeah. If there's anything bad I had to say about the movie, well, I did say that Shockwave was underused and some of the Decepticons are killed off unceremoniously. If there's any other bad parts, maybe what just comes after the movie, because I reckon that if you were to just take the first 3 Transformers movies and end it there, it would be fine. They'd be a better trilogy. But at the same time, I think I'm still happy that Age of Extinction: The Last Night came out, because it made me appreciate the first 3 a little bit more. Like, you don't know what you've got until it's gone. Like, just that the nostalgia feeling of how those Bay films felt when they come out is gone when Age of Extinction happens. It's not the same anymore. I do really like Age of Extinction. It's kind of, no, not Age of Extinction, Dark of the Moon, sorry. It really is just a big old guilty pleasure movie that if I'm ever feeling down, I can look up some of the scenes from the movie and just watch Optimus raise hell, or the highway scene. And the soundtrack is fucking great. Love the theme song that plays during the highway scene. I could go on forever, but Age of Extinction, The Dark of the Moon is a guilty pleasure movie, and I rank it at number 3, only because the other 2 are so much better, not just for their action. So Dark of the Moon is number 3. So this is the spoiler section of the video. Number 2 is Rise of the Beast. So this is the part where I'm going to talk about the movie I just saw, and I absolutely fucking loved Rise of the Beast. So even though I put Dark of the Moon at number 3, there is probably a big gap between Rise of the Beast and Dark of the Moon. So like, it just jumps in quality. Not only is the action in that movie really, really good, but the characters, the plot, like even the plot is a lot simpler than the other ones, and it's good. It's even a shorter movie, which just means it ties itself up in a nice little package with a bow. And there's everything in it. Like the Transformers actually have personalities, characters. The designs are simple yet interesting to look at and just memorable. Like, but I just fucking love that movie. I've seen it twice now. I saw it at an early screening about 2 weeks ago, and I saw it when it first released here in Australia last week. And I absolutely fucking love the movie. It's great. Scourge is a great villain. I was so hyped for Unicron. It was awesome. He looks exactly how he does in Transformers the movie, unlike the stupid in the planet Unicron that was in The Last Night, which also that confirms that Rise of the Beast is not a prequel. It is a brand new continuity. I don't understand how people still get that confused. It's Bumblebee, Rise of the Beast. That's a new continuity. Bayverse ended at 5. But Rise of the Beast, absolutely fucking love it. Talk about characters. Like Optimus had his own character arc and wasn't a brutal maniac. Like, he still killed the bad guys, but you got to do what you got to do. Yeah, he didn't brutally slaughter them, like gunning down Sentinel Prime after he surrendered, kind of thing. He had a vendetta out for Scourge, because spoilers, Scourge actually did kill Bumblebee, and they brought him back later in the film, and Optimus had a real vendetta against Scourge because of that, and I actually loved hearing it. But Optimus's character growth, learning to trust humans through Noah, was really great to watch, like actual character development and growth. Scourge was a great villain. Seeing him go around, he had it out for Optimus as well. Just the dynamic between those two going at it, and like the things that Optimus would say to Scourge, like, "Let me show you the true power of a Prime." I love those lines. He actually said some banger one-liners too. "I couldn't think of a better place to bury you." I loved it. It's just Optimus and Mirage probably stole the show in this movie. Let's talk about Mirage. Played by Pete Davidson. Also, the cast in this movie is great. But Mirage is just fantastic. I laughed so hard at some of the shit he said, and like even he had a little bit of character growth, like sacrificing himself basically so that Noah could fight back. Like Mirage was just so funny, like probably the most personality out of any Transformer in any of the live action movies, basically. Just all of his 80s references and everything I understood all of them. It was bloody fantastic. Like Marky Mark just leaving the Funky Bunch. I fucking love Mirage. He was great. He was very entertaining. Also love his car mode. I want that car, but probably never gonna happen. Yeah, even though Bumblebee was killed off halfway through it, he's still like even a character that didn't appear for most of the movie because of his death still did a lot more than any Bayverse characters combined. RC was great. I liked her. She was cool. Wheeljack. There's been lots of controversy over Wheeljack's design, and I personally don't like it. Especially, like, I didn't mind it before I saw the movie, but after seeing the movie, the fact that they created such a controversy over his design, and then he did basically nothing in the film, just makes it worse. Like, why? Like, who decided that? Like, Battletrap. Like, I understand that Battletrap looks nothing like the G1 character does, but, like, not a lot of people actually know who Battletrap is. Like, I do, because I'm a massive nerd, and I had the Duocon toy, but it's okay if you redesign him and just reuse his name. But Wheeljack is probably an A-lister Autobot character who has a unified design in most of the continuities he's been into. We're not going to talk about Armada. So why change him? Like, you've even got the Earthspark cartoon going on right now, which has Wheeljack classic design. Why change it? Nightbird was pretty cool. The Terracons, Nightbird and Battletrap, really cool designs. I like Nightbird more than Battletrap. Mostly Battletrap was just a brute. Didn't do much in the film, but he still just was cool to look at. And Nightbird actually, like, unlike Battletrap, actually has a design that kind of evokes her original look. And I do quite like her design. I can't wait for a Studio Series toy to be announced on that. But yeah, and just all the characters are great. Even Noah and Elena were great human characters, more enjoyable to watch than Sam and Cade. Also, the fact that they gave Noah an exosuit made out of Mirage's body is just so cool. Like, actually watching a human help them fight. So, like, I really bloody love this movie. Stratosphere as well was in it. He didn't do much either, but I think the standout characters in the movie is probably Optimus, Mirage, Scourge, Optimus Primal, and Airazor. Like, the Maximals were great. Cheetor and Rhinox didn't do anything, and that's one flaw I have with the Maximals, is I really wish that we saw their robot modes more. Like, they never really... they only transformed once, and because it was a battle, you could barely, like, get a good look at them. And I'm pretty sure Rhinox only said one line in the movie, and when I saw it the second time, I realized that he actually said a line mostly because he sounds like Optimus or Cheetor is talking, and it doesn't actually sound like Rhinox. But Optimus Primal is a really good character. I really enjoy seeing him. I love his design, the big monkey. We love big robotic monkeys. We love big monkeys in any movies, really. Airazor was actually a surprisingly great character that convinced me to buy the Studio Series toy. She was actually, like, I don't know, a bridge between the Maximals and Autobots. And I actually really enjoyed her character in the movie. But the fact that Bumblebee was really good and Rise of the Beast was really good has got me really excited for new Transformers movies. I think the curse has been lifted. We can finally actually look forward to them. I've heard there's an animated one coming out next year. But yeah, right. Also, the soundtrack in Rise of the Beast is great. It brought back the Bayverse film theme, like it's called Tool 1, and it's actually, I've listened to it so many times now. I absolutely love that they brought that back. And I already really want to watch this movie again, but I'm probably gonna wait till it comes out on disc now, so I can buy it on Blu-ray or something. And there might be some deleted scenes, hopefully, with some stuff in it that was cut out of the film. is there anything that I didn't like about the movie? Well, probably my biggest gripe is the fact that there's a bunch of scenes in the trailers that weren't in the movie. Like, even some lines, like Optimus saying, "Let them come," that everyone memed, wasn't really in the film. He said it in a different way, different, like, orientation with words. And Primal never really said, there's a darkness coming. Those scenes were cut out. Even like the one where RC just like waves at Elena, that's not in the movie either. Yeah, that's probably the thing, is just there was a couple of scenes that were cut out. Also, probably the biggest atrocity that this movie committed was cutting out Transit, our only Decepticon. Hopefully deleted scenes will be in it. I don't know. Everyone loves Transit. I love Transit. Just from that one image we all saw of him, I just want to see more of him. But I absolutely love that movie. I saw it twice. I'm still thinking about it. I can't wait to see what the next movie is going to be like. So Rise of the Beast is number 2. And at number 1, we have Bumblebee. This movie, this movie came out a year after the atrocity of the last night, and just, I absolutely loved it. Like, when I went and saw the movie, like, just from the start, Bumblebee starts off with the Cybertron scene with all the Decepticons and Autobots fighting. I fucking fell in love with the movie instantly from there. The movie ticket was worth the starting scene. Just seeing Optimus do his iconic jump and take out Decepticons, but not in a brutal way. Seeing Soundwave and all these other Decepticons jump down, use his iconic voice. Just, that movie is so great. It has a special place in my heart just because of how much of an emotional movie it actually can be. Like, I'm pretty sure I almost cried at the end of the movie, and then seeing Optimus and Bumblebee driving on the truck on the road together, even though I don't think that was actually Optimus. It's just a truck that looked like him. It's like finding your dad in someone that looks like your dad in the supermarket when you're lost. But that movie has a special place in my heart because that's the movie that made us all realize that you get rid of fucking Michael Bay or you get someone else, you can actually make a good Transformers movie. And just that movie has a special place in my heart. Just mostly, like, the movie still has action, but a little bit less than Rise of the Beast. But I think that's why I like it a little bit more, is that it's more about the characters and everything. And Haley Steinfeld's Charlie is probably the best human character. Like, obviously she's not gonna help in a fight that much like Noah did, but just watching Bumblebee and Charlie's friendship in that movie is just really great. And like, Shadow and Dropkick were really great villains as well. Like, after seeing the Bayverse metal all silver and shit, it was nice to see blue and red colourful Dropkick and Shadow. They were really good villains. Angelina Bassett played Shadow really well. I like how they both, like, they were killed off in the end, but not in like bullshit ways. Like, seeing Dropkick get killed by having chains wrapped around his rotor blades and then like basically go into his internals and then get pulled apart was awesome. Also seeing Shadow get crushed by a boat. Like, they may have been killed off in the end, but that's what Dropkick and Shadow were there for. They wanted to have villains that, I feel like they wanted to have villains that weren't known, like Starscream or Soundwave, and like they got killed off in the end, but they served their purpose for the movie. Especially seeing how no way you could let them live, to be honest. They're trying to communicate with the rest of the Decepticons and bring them to Earth. Yeah, but I do love the 80s setting of the movie. All the soundtrack's great. I know that we've had plenty of movies filled with 80s music and all that, but it just fits the style really well. And having Bumblebee turn into a Volkswagen again is just so nice to see. The scene with Blitzwing at the start was really, really good. I love that scene. Especially that scene where you can actually hear Bumblebee talk. I think he's played by Dylan O'Brien. Having him talk really just made me want him to talk. Like, ever since I've seen that movie and heard him speak, I've just wanted him to be able to speak since then. And I want him to be played by Dylan as well. And like, I like how the voice thing about him talking through the radio isn't just played for laughs or just cause. It actually works with the story and how Charlie taught him how to speak and everything, and how Bumblebee made her feel like herself again. Just that movie's themes and plot are really good. Like even John Cena's not that bad in the movie as well. It's like character growth, like trusting Bumblebee in the end. Just everything about that movie is great, and it's like Rise of the Beast was great too, but Bumblebee just has a special place in my heart, especially like it's just like, oh my god, like, because I think before everyone went into that movie we were all a bit cautious about it. Like we know what the last two Transformers movies before that, Age of Extinction and Last Night, were not very good, so we're all going into it like I hope this is all good, and it was like amazing. So I love how it kind of broke the curse of bad Transformers movies, because then its sequel, Rise of the Beast, was just as good as Bumblebee. That's why it's actually really hard for me to rank Rise of the Beast and Bumblebee, because I can't decide which one I like more. They're kind of on the same level. I think I'm just putting Bumblebee a little bit higher because it broke the curse and was just very emotionally brought me into it. And I just think I just really, really like that movie. And like, especially it came out a year after The Last Night, and like it's like night and day of like how the quality of those movies, and just the respect that the characters and everything get in that movie is just really, really good. Also, Dropkick and Shadow are triple changes, and I'm still waiting for them to make studio series like Voyager triple changer figures of them, please. And like, I just really, really like that movie. I could probably go on all day about that movie, and I feel like I might actually watch it now after this, because talking about it really makes me want to watch all of the like talking about all these movies has really made me want to go watch them all again, except for Age of Extinction and The Last Night, of course. I don't want to watch those ever again, really. But yeah, I could go on all day about how much I like Bumblebee. That movie was fantastic. I can't believe it's already been 5 years since that movie. That makes me feel old, and also makes me realize where the fuck did the time go. Yeah, so absolutely love Bumblebee. That is number one on my ranking list. So that is all for my Transformers live action ranking video. I want to thank you for watching. Leave your opinions on the movies down in the comments. I'd like to see what you think. If you think that The Last Night is your favorite movie out of the series, then I will be disliking your comment immediately. I'm kidding. But I would like to see and hear what your opinions are on the movies as well, and I hope you enjoyed this video. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.